Recorded from our studio in the back of an empty train car, it's The View from Down Here with your host, Snackin'. Featuring our special guest, Nobody, and musical guest, YouTube's free audio library. Now here's your host, the avatar of average, Snackin'. Thank you so much. Let me tell you what, that virtual applause does more for me every single time I hear it. I might be egocentric. Welcome to the mid-season report, snackers and snackettes, from the view from down here. Anyway, I always start out this segment with something in the real world, either a joke or something else, and I was really searching for something funny to talk about. And then I saw on Apple News that Justin Bieber has been showing off his new clothing line, which he calls Drew, which is apparently his middle name. Prices range from $48 to $148 and includes all unisex pieces. There's a link to the website down below. The website is encouraging people to wear it how you want and wear it like you don't care. Which I think if you're shopping there, you probably don't. So, to honor Mr. Bieber, let's go ahead. Well, I'm actually honoring, what was his name? Letterman. I'm actually honoring Letterman. Let's do a top 10 reasons why I will not be wearing Drew from the Biebs. Number 1, I don't trust people who has a name as a verb. Number 2, Justin Drew Bieber puts a really different spin on that scene from the Titanic, doesn't it? Number 3, yellow makes fat guys look like the sun is walking down the street. Number 4, wear it like you don't care. Even I have some small level of self-respect. Number 5, I'm not ready to come out of the closet, so I'm not putting that in my closet. Number 6, I was cured of my Bieber fever long ago. Number 7, all unisex pieces? I think you mean no sex pieces. Number 8, I haven't earned $48 from YouTube views yet. Number 9, if this is something I wanted, I have better ways to get Drew's name on my body. Most of it involves large amounts of alcohol and drugs. And number 10, I can't afford a Latuda because that shit will give me HIV. All right, now that we've had our fun and at Mr. Bieber's expense, let's move on to Overwatch. So the patch is rough. As a tank healer, it's changed my life a lot. I get the feeling the DPS mains are feeling better about themselves, though. It is definitely a DPS meta right now. So my Ryan play, right? Let's look at that first. Reinhardt was sitting in the upper 60s before the patch, and now it's in the lower 60s. I have a 20% win rate on Ryan after the patch. So I've won 2 and, almost 2 and 10 basically. It's been rough. The Diva change is also harder than I expected it to be. Unit Loss did a video on that and talked about how Diva's not trash, but you got to be smarter with her with the use of that defense matrix. I kind of predicted that I wouldn't be able to eat all the fire strikes, but at this point, you've got to make a choice with what you're going to do with that defense matrix. I need to take a look at the refill time, though, with a cooldown of 4 seconds, because your matrix is refilling on the 2-second cooldown, which means you're a little freer to use all of it because you can't use it as often anyway. So what I've started doing is using more defense matrix and then just not using it for the little stuff. If the enemy is still a ways away, I will eat the fire strikes and the Moira balls. But if they're getting to the mid fight, all bets are off. I can't justify using a valuable asset like Defense Matrix on a Fire Strike when I might need it to eat that Feral. So you just got to be smarter with Diva than you were before. And for all the tanks, you can't, well, for all the tanks with armor, you can't face tank like you used to. If you need to rest that Rhine shield, you probably need to get under cover instead of taking damage from the enemy, because it's so much harder to keep you alive than it was. And speaking of harder to keep it alive, that also hurts the healers. As far as I'm concerned, Mercy's in a worse place than she was before. She is absolutely relegated to second heals now. You've just got to have an Ana or a Moira on your team, or you cannot keep your tanks up. There's just not enough heals, because your armor is getting shredded. To make things worse on ladder, I've also seen a lot of, at least in silver, and I don't think this is happening above silver or gold. I'm seeing a lot of Zarya Hog as the tanks. So a lot of people are playing off tanks because they don't want to play tanks that have armor. And Zarya Hog is not exactly the best tanking combination you're ever going to see. So that's hurting my SR even more, because if I'm playing heals, then I've got people who won't main tank because they don't want to mess with that biznasty right now. So tank players, intelligent engagement is the name of the game. If you want to continue to climb as a tank, you need to engage intelligently, and not, you need to make sure you're close to your heals. You need to, if you're going to charge, I did a video a long time ago about the really long Rhine charges. Unless it's just unless you can just get really high reward out of that charge, that's going to be a mistake, because it'll put you too far out of position. You need to be close to home. There's been a lot of videos on this patch. BTC has been real active. So has Stylosa, Cliftarios. I advise people to check them out. The good news is, I promised in my last View from Down Here video, the start of season 14 video, that if I stayed in gold the whole season, I would stop playing with myself, and I don't have to live up to that really high expectation now. Now that I'm back in silver, I'm free to play with myself all I wanted, which there's advantages to that too. So yeah. I think even if someone's on high, and that's really all I've got. So mid-season report, the patch is punishing me a little more than I thought it would, and I have dropped back into mid-silver. That's all I got. Hey, you guys, everyone be good to each other out there. Snacking out.
Good heals.
Yeah,
I got really confused because I was like, sweet, let's take the high ground, and I start going, I'm like, wait, where'd everybody go?
Well, I got there. I just went around
the other
back.
staircase, right?
Yeah, I went around the back.